Well, I just learned that this episode apparently got so heated that apparently it got banned from discussion in the official Death Battle Discord, which is just super disappointing to see. It's so annoying seeing people in versus debating try and justify their opinion to be completely right, even though versus debating is almost entirely opinion based. Though I kind of had a feeling this would kind of happen given the fact that this is one of the few fights that has a ton of debate over it. But I really didn't expect it to become something as controversial as something like Bowser vs. Ganon, Goku vs. Superman 2, or even, God forbid, Hao vs. Ben 10. Because, yeah, a lot of death battles have controversy like that. What tends to annoy me is that people completely overlook that there are other things to the death battles other than just the verdict. There's the analysis, the jokes, the writing, the animation itself, and the overall just aesthetic to the entire fight and episode as a whole that makes them unique from each other. Yet, people completely overlook that all because they think the episode was wrong. I'm personally one of the probably many people who doesn't care about the verdict and just hopes that the episode turns out well. I'm going to say this to all the Salt Lords right now. I absolutely adore this episode, and I'm going to explain why. I don't plan on making this super long. I just want to give a quick overall discussion on what I thought of this episode. Now, this is probably the most excited I've ever been for a death battle, given the fact that they're finally using my favorite fictional character ever in any fictional media, and it just made me so happy to see him finally get represented here. Now, as for the animation itself, the animation is absolutely beautiful. It's one of the best animated episodes of the entire show. The animation itself just feels like a giant love letter to both of the franchises being represented here. There's a bunch of Easter eggs and cameos that they didn't need to include, but it just felt like they were giving back to the community that probably doesn't really deserve it, to be honest. At least in the way they reacted to this episode, that is. But it's not just that. Bill and Discord act completely in character throughout most of the animation, if not the entire animation as a whole. Bill has his usual cockiness and arrogance throughout the fight, and Discord just has his playful, charming self. The voice acting is also great, with the voice acting being almost spot on. Discord is a bit off, but it basically captures the essence of the character perfectly. Also, the fourth wall breaking in the episode doesn't feel too over the top as is something like Deadpool's fourth wall breaking throughout past episodes. Instead, the fourth wall breaking feels nice and in character and doesn't feel too overwhelming. The body language for both characters as well is also really humorous, and it also just fits them so well, with Bill coming off as more aggressive and Discord coming off as more laid back. The animation changes were also hilarious, and I obviously can't go without mentioning Among Us Bill Cipher, of course. The rubber host and puppet scenes are also hilarious. The rubber host scene actually caught me off guard, and the puppet scene made me laugh out loud real hard. It was genuinely such a charming thing to see. It was just so nice, and seeing Discord violently rip a hand out of his mouth was horrifying and hilarious. Then we get a Star Trek joke, which I initially didn't get, but then I learned the context and I didn't stop laughing for like 5 minutes, which was just hilarious. Also, I probably should have said this earlier, but the banter and jokes in the episode are just flat out hilarious. I already mentioned the Star Trek one, but the jokes of them fighting with action figures and also Bill saying that he wanted to play checkers only to pull out a giant chess piece, which is just so in character for Bill. It's just so funny. Then we get to my favorite part in the fight where Discord enters Bill's mind and enters his mindscape, which is not only funny to see Bill's reaction to it, but it's also a nice change of pace to the episode. And seeing Discord try and take advantage of Bill's one weakness is super cool. Also, just the way that Discord said die was one of the best delivered lines in the episode. Also, giant red angry Bill is just so nicely animated. It's so good to see. Also, the way they animated the reference to Bill's death not only is a great animation scene, but it also demonstrates how close the fight actually was, without making Bill's come off as either weak or uncharacteristically sad or defeated. And then in the moment where Discord realizes he's going to die, he reveals to Bill that he actually lured him into the trap that caused Bill to get trapped back into the nightmare realm. And this was such a good twist to see. Seeing that Bill essentially, while he technically won the fight, he didn't win at accomplishing his goal. Discord accomplished his goal but died in the process. And the death was pretty good to see, as Discord laughed in the face of his killer, which was just amazing. Then Bill looks directly at us, grabs the camera, and asks one of us million-plus viewers to get a deal back into the regular world. A perfect way to end off the episode. My overall rating for this episode is a 10 out of 10. It's basically perfect. It's everything I could have ever asked for in this death battle, plus more. I love this episode so much, and I'm just hoping that Death Battle can keep up the good work, because Season 10 as a whole has been doing so good. That's all I essentially have to say, so if you are watching this, have a good day, y'all.